So,
what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world?
hey to whoever clicked on this video, because it's my first one and I'm really excited about it. I'm Marvin,
Hello there.
alias BoneTheChain, and I started streaming a year ago, right before taking like a long break to study for my finals. I've been playing Genshin since 1.0 and I'm probably gonna keep playing until the day I die. You know, the crippling addiction to the game has me so cold. Please help me, I actually think this is unhealthy for me. I've been playing for 9 hours straight just so I can get 60 primo jumps in order to pull for my full new favorite husband of the constellations and... Okay, so now that the interactions are over, and I've done my first very bad bit, let's get into the reason you actually clicked on this video. So, while I was coming up for ideas for both my stream, twitch.tv/BoneTheChain by the way, and my YouTube channel's first video, Not Cry released with all of its easygoing exploration, beautiful and distinguished scenery, and its absolute banger of an Archon quest. Amongst these things, Llama released. You know, the beautiful lady with gorgeous abilities and big bountiful cores. Obviously, with Nilu, that is. Okay, I think we get the joke now. But with the limited Primogems I have, since I'm not rich or anything, and since I really want Flynn's, I couldn't pull for her on my main account. But then I realized, didn't the Hoyo devs say that they were implementing a lot of new changes to make the game more accessible for new players? And that's where it clicked. I was going to start the new account on stream, where I try getting characters that I wouldn't want on my main, and experience all of the nostalgia as I try to play the game like a new player would. But now you might be asking, Marv, where does the whole like review part come in from the title? And that's exactly the point of this video. If you've been playing the game for as long as I have, you probably know what I mean when I say new regions, they just don't feel like Genshin anymore. And that's something I've heard a lot of players say. However, I feel like that's just the nostalgia talking, because oh my god, is the game tedious for a new player? Like, what in the pandemic, stuck at home kind of copium is this ish? Like, were we only playing the game because there was nothing else to do? Like, not only are there a bajillion areas you need to explore, nuh-uh, you're also stuck at the most boring ones if you don't want to get completely overwhelmed with what the game expects you to do. And it's not like anyone helps you with any of it either. Guides tell you should farm the Animalcule first. The game, however, tells you that you should just shortcut to the new area because there's time-limited rewards for those. Some say get the Welkin, some say don't spend money on this shit game, ignore the battle pass for now. And I can definitely understand if any of you new players were to get completely lost in confusion. Heck, I got lost in confusion multiple times while streaming because even the event tab doesn't really show you anything useful. It literally only tells you that everything is time limited and you need to get grinding ASAP. Okay, enough yapping for now, let's just get into it, shall we? Welcome to the first episode of the Traveler's Review. Oh, Mondstadt. I mean, come on. It's the nation where we all started. The nation of wind, freedom, and tutorials. A lot of tutorials, which are unskippable and forcibly pause your screen every time the game thinks you might encounter a struggle. When I say every time, I mean every single time. It's also the place where we first get introduced to our main character, the Traveler, and our Geppetto-esque commentator, Paimon. She is also the one who introduces us to the very basic mechanics of the game, and explains a little bit of why we're even here. To be honest, in contrary to popular belief, I actually kinda like this introduction. Other games often try to throw you into the middle of an important event, setting the scene for the story to come. This approach surely has its advantages as well, but I really enjoy the softer and slower approach that Genshin takes with this. Shortly after resonating with our first statue of the 7, we encounter Venti, who is currently trying to yap with Dwalin so he doesn't fart all over Mondstadt. However, we decide to interrupt with our own little animal fart, which we just couldn't hold back, and suddenly we are thrown into the middle of our first Archon quest. You know, I don't have a lot to say about the Archon quest in Mondstadt, but that's not because I don't have many feelings about it, but rather because there isn't that much to talk about. I mean, you can basically summarize the entire quest like this. Dvalin Mad makes wind. Mondstadt no like wind. Bad people make bad politics. We fight Dvalin before Fatui killed Dvalin. We defeated and saved Dvalin. Also, Venti is animal god and Signora steals the gnosis. Like, sure, if you really want to extract every word they say, go for it. But even when you search for more relevant plotlines, you cannot find them. Heck, the entire second quest where we spent 10 years stealing and repairing the Holy Lyre with Venti is just a filler. Dvalin breaks it again about 20 seconds later, and we're suddenly stuck at square one. Also, as much as I like Jean, Diluc, Venti, and the other relevant cast members in Mondstadt, it's almost comical just about how irrelevant they are. Sure, they add a little commentary to the quest itself, and maybe you can count Diluc's beat-up session with the Abyss Mage as a little work done by him alone, but except for maybe Venti's wind barrier breaking and Stormtear's lair, they didn't accomplish anything without us doing it for them. Yes, we are the main character, and yes, they want to make us be the hero, but as we were clearly able to tell in recent Arkham quests, other characters can have agency without taking the spotlight away from us. Also, what's it with all the small filler puzzles? I will accept that they wanted to introduce us to different elemental mechanics and interactions with the world and the Temple of the Four Winds domains. But why do you halt progression every time we would finally meet a checkpoint? Take Stormtear's lair for instance. You climb up this big, menacing tower where you're supposed to face this bad dragon, just to be sent back down by Jean to collect seal stones all over the map? Talk about suspense killers. And don't even get me started on Diluc's venture into the Fatui hideout, where we go looking for a key in every room there is until finally finding it in the last one. The Dvalin boss fight, where you play the shooting minigame for a second time, it's weirdly time-gated. It just feels like weird when you're in a climactic showdown and you're stuck trying to glide to the next speeding ring. It's these artificial stalling mechanisms that really make the story feel sluggish and anticlimactic. And to be honest, if that is what I understood the Arkham quest to be, a filler-ridden pile of text to make you jog more hours in the game, I wouldn't love Genshin's lore as much as I do. It really saddens me that new players who would really enjoy the modern quality of Genshin are forced to go through the outdated versions first. And before you get the wrong idea, I love Mondstadt's story. I love the concept of freedom that Venti believes in. I love the Knights of Favonius and how they take care of Klee while their mother is gone. I love how Mondstadt's history shows that even if Barbados granted Mondstadt political freedom, he didn't abandon his nation. As can be seen by the rise of the aristocracy, where he assisted Vanessa to fight for freedom and later ascend to Celestia. Him and Dvalin fighting against Durin during the Cataclysm, or even nowadays, assisting the Knights of Favonius in the Paralogism quest, or helping Bennett with his story. It's just that I wish more of these beautiful and very meaningful interactions and stories were betrayed in the Archon quest, so that players were actually introduced to the intricacies of Genshin Impact's lore. One last little nitpick, which I will cleverly use as a segue into our next section, is how there's always a tutorial screen of how to get to the adventure XP when you're done with the story section. It's just really heavily displays the overuse of tutorial screens in Mondstadt. Oh boy, and when I say overuse, I mean overuse. Picture this. You're a new player and you're chasing the dopamine of solving puzzles just like everyone else when you go into Kaya's domain challenge. You walk through a door and find a pool of water with dark red spikes in it. You think to yourself, wait, surely this is a puzzle. How can I solve it? Just to be hit with a full screen tutorial of how to freeze the water in front of you with Kaya's elemental skill. It totally kills the immersion and leaves you feeling like the developers thought you were too stupid to freeze water. I'm not trying to say that the tutorial screens are completely unnecessary or that they shouldn't help you if you're stuck. However, throwing the solution at you before you were even confronted with the problem sorta defeats the whole premise of a puzzle, don't you think? Also, in Mondstadt, tediousness is the name of the game. I don't mean in the puzzles themselves, I mean of how character reliant they are. I mean, come on people, we're talking about a game where it's supposed to play with the characters that you like. So why would you be forced to use Amber to shoot pyro arrows, or put down 3 elemental electro monuments which expire super quickly so that only Lisa could clear them? And it gets even worse in Dragonspine and Liyue, but I'm gonna talk about those in a different video. Look, I can smell the intention they had with these puzzles. They are meant for you to be flexible about your units and think creatively. However, all they really do is force your team to be either Lisa, Kaya, Amber, and Traveler, or maybe throw Barbara in every now and then. I mean, it just feels like crap when you have to stand still and wait to change your character because you had the audacity to swap one of them out and now you're missing an archer. Since Mondstadt isn't that big, there aren't a lot of things to yap about when it comes to its exploration. It's a straightforward region with a few notable puzzles, but yeah, that's kinda it. Which doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. I do actually like that they don't hit us with 14 different exploration mechanics and overload our mental CPUs with too much info. It is still the tutorial region and it is meant to go light on us. So there's not that much wiggle room on what to say about it. One thing though that always comes along with exploration is But before we continue with the video, a word from our sponsor. Nothing beats a Teyvat holiday. And right now, you can save 50 mora per person. Do you enjoy walking through vast green meadows? Or do you prefer vast green meadows? Then Mondstadt is the place for you. And for our more adventurous travelers, we also offer the occasional sight of vast green meadows. Nah, but in all seriousness, there are 3 interesting spots in Mondstadt. Dvalin's tower, where he's nowhere to be seen, like, ever, not even in the Archon quest. Boreas's challenge, which is weirdly tied to the story quest of a 4-star, and the Mondstadt city itself. So, for the rest of the region, we are talking about a long walk over green grass. So that's on beating the Genshin players touch no grass allegations. And if you didn't believe me, look at the following 2 clips. Notice how they're both pretty close to each other? Yeah, nah, they're absolutely not. They're both on opposite sides of the map, man. All of that just feeds into my point from earlier. New regions have way more sites and interesting places to be at. Look at Notcry. They release more interesting places in a single patch than they did in all of Mondstadt. But even though I like to complain, I gotta give it this though. Starsnatch Cliff and the tree at Windrise, they do really feel like beautiful places. Gotta give Mondstadt a break somehow, right? And I mean, back then, everything did feel new. Talking about new, let's talk about... As I said in the intro of this video, the Genshin devs did add a lot of new things for new players. But to be completely honest, most of the quality of life changes they implemented only add to the confusion. Before you condemn me for complaining way too much and just making things up, let me show you this. The second you finish Mondstadt's Archon quest, you're suddenly hit with a trillion quests that open up for you. Your event tab explodes and you unlock 13,000 features such as world quests, weekly bosses, domains, free characters that you can collect. Stygian Onslaught for some reason. Like, I don't even know that you could unlock this at this point. Oh! And did I mention that none of these things include a guide on what you should do first or what's to prioritize? This precisely was the point where even I, a day 1 player, got severely overwhelmed and almost didn't know what to do. Sure, lowering the difficulty of co-op is nice. They also added a lot of other different things. But that was never the thing that kept players away from you, Genshin. It's that you need to do diligent research on the game in beforehand in order to get a grasp on what to do. And don't forget, FOMO is always behind you. With the game telling you to explore Notcry right now and complete the events to earn Primogens, you obviously jump to doing that first. It also doesn't help that 90% of social media that focuses around Genshin only makes videos about the new places. But once you're done, you're just supposed to go back? That just feels really awkward and really boring almost. I don't want this to come out the wrong way though. I love Genshin and I want it to succeed. But I really dislike how the community is slowly degrading into long-time players only. I mean, one of the most fun things for me back in the day was to join a Discord community server and help others figure out the game in co-op. It's just that for some reason, Genshin decided to opt for at the start, we show you very little mechanics and then we throw you into the shark tank and close the lid. Good luck, man approach. Also, a little side rant from me here. Why don't they include quality of life changes retroactively? Like, why can't I complete my dailies by exploring like literally everybody else until I'm adventure rank 25? Or why is focused story mode not a thing for the earlier quests and forces me to start both Kaya's story quest and the Archon quest at the same time because for some reason Kaya's takes priority over the Archon quest? Just some food for thought, you know, just some food. As of recording this video, I have explored all of Mondstadt to about 40% and finished all of the important quests, and I think I will leave it at that for now. I have experienced most of its up and downs, and think this would be a good point where it starts to feel a bit tedious. After viewing Mondstadt's vast landscapes from a new player's perspective, I can't help but feel nostalgic towards it. Most of the negative points I mentioned are less of me saying Genshin is doing a very bad job, and more of me wondering why they don't at least add travel guides or so. Something to make entry into the game easier and less overwhelming. Like, let's say for instance Alice gives you or leaves you a book, and then it tells you what you're supposed to do at the start of the game. However, if anyone ever asks me if it's worth to give the game a try, it's a definitive yes for me. It's evolved so much over the last couple of years, and if you can overlook its few, and I mean few, flaws, it's a great game. 5 stars from me. Also, Genshin, please add a skip button to returning players, so I don't have to sit through all the yapping for 24 hours straight. And I'd very much like a dark mode, because Jesus Christ, my eyes. Hello everyone, I just spent the entire day editing. I started today in the morning and it's now 8 PM. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I put all of my thoughts into it. I know it's not the best thing, but please keep in mind that it's been my first one and I really put my back into it. I really enjoyed playing through Mondstadt, and especially playing it on stream and having people to chat with was really fun, and not being alone while enjoying it also helped me a lot. So I'm gonna say thank you to the guys sitting in my stream every day. If you want to see more, make sure to leave a like, please subscribe so I can see that you guys enjoy it, and feel free to join my Discord and my Twitch, both of which are gonna be linked in the description below. Also keep in mind that this was the first time for me scripting, editing, and doing a voiceover, so if any of these things find flaws, also feel free to leave a comment telling me what I could improve on, and if you guys want to help me out, I'm begging you to join the Discord and sit down with me and explain the ropes to me, because I don't know how to do this. I'm really struggling, but I just really wanted to like get to know you guys and show you guys some of my insights. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it to it now. I know I've been rambling for way too long. This was my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys very soon. Bye!